head.
Okay. That welt on Joanna's head, she's starting to look like one of those aliens from Star Trek, like with that thing on her forehead. She's starting to look like this dude right here. Look at that. Look at that thing on her head. Man, her forehead is bad.
Looking a little bit like a...
Yeah, welcome to the show. It is Ringside Report MMA. I am Dave Simon. Tonight, Deiveson Figueiredo. Is he the UFC's next breakout star? He just won at UFC 255, and he's going to be fighting again 3 weeks later, headlining the next pay-per-view, UFC 256. We'll recap UFC 255. We'll preview UFC Vegas 15, Blaydes versus Lewis, and we'll also talk about nobody wanting to sign Anderson Silva. Ringside Report MMA starts right now. Yo. Where are my guys? Guys.
Yo, superstar.
Fred.
Are you there?
Hey, I just see Fred's head. Why is Fred? There's like no Fred body. It's just like a head. There you go. I was like, it's just a head? What happened to Fred? He got decapitated? He's all right.
It would have been so funny if we were actually cut off, man. You would have went like ballistic.
If you guys were gone. If I came back to the show, you guys are gone. What happened? You guys disappear? That would be funny.
I could already hear it on the background.
So
Motherfuckers.
All right.
Hey, what's up, superstar?
You doing good?
Give us a chance to say hi.
You doing
Good
well,
there.
AJ?
What do you have, a Trump? A Trump? What is that on your shirt? Oh, it's Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
That's right, brother.
Wow.
America.
Wow.
That's a real American hero right here, baby. Terry.
Well, not according to Freddie there with Le Batard there.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm a big Hogan supporter. I support Hulk Hogan. I mean, not his racism, but his wrestling. His wrestling was cool. We're going to talk about MMA here on the show. Deiveson Figueiredo, as I said off the top, big win for him on Saturday night. Huge. A big title defense, his first title defense as UFC flyweight champion. And now he's going to be fighting again because the UFC needs a main event for UFC 256. And they're throwing Deiveson in there again. He's going to be taking on Brandon Moreno. Moreno also victorious on Saturday night at UFC 255. So they're going right back to the well with the UFC 255 flyweights, and they're matching them up, and they're saying, yeah, let's do this again. Both guys got out of their fights within the first round, looked dominant. Brandon Moreno knocking out Brandon Royval in the Battle of the Brandons. I think Brandon Royval now has to go by Brendan because he can't be. Deiveson,
He's been demoted, man.
That's right. He's now Brendan. It was Brandon versus Brandon, and the loser had to be Brendan. So now Brendan Royval. But Brandon Moreno gets to continue to be a Brandon, and he'll take on Deiveson Figueiredo for the belt in like 3 weeks. It's pretty crazy.
Crazy, man.
3 weeks in between fights here. So they fought on November 21st, this past Saturday, and they're going to be right back at it on December 12th. Figueiredo versus Moreno. And after Figueiredo's performance on Saturday, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty convinced that this is the man right now at 125 pounds, and we were kind of dissing the main event, dissing the pay-per-view, saying, look, this wasn't... I was. Okay, I was. That was me. Sorry, that was me. Well, Fred was with me, right? Fred agreed. Right, Fred? That the pay-per-view wasn't... I mean, it wasn't a strong pay-per-view as far as, anybody know what kind of numbers it did as far as pay-per-view sales? I haven't seen any of that, but... Nope. Freddie, can you maybe check that out? Or AJ, one of you guys figure out, what did UFC 255 do number-wise? Because I can't imagine it did well. But I'm convinced that Deiveson Figueiredo is a star of UFC fighting now. This is a guy I want to see in the UFC. This is appointment viewing now because of what he did to Alex Perez and because of what he did before that to Joseph Benavidez. This guy looks like a star. This guy looks like a champion. He's carrying himself like a champion. He's walking in. He's impeccably dressed. It's his first big headline of a pay-per-view, and he shows up big time. First round submission, 1:57 seconds. And if you know anything about submission grappling, you know that guillotine was world class. World class. I was blown away by that guillotine. Just the way that he transitioned into it, the way that he got to the ground, where he went for the leg lock, like he had it, like Perez had his leg, he went for the takedown. This guy's on one leg, Figueiredo. He decides to drop down, spins, gets into a leg lock position. Perez gets out of it. And then as they're transitioning, Figueiredo slaps on the guillotine, just works his arm over the head. Somehow, as he moves over, it's super tight, and then gets somehow the guard, like just swoops his legs underneath the body, clamps the guard down, and he has one arm in. He's got the other arm on the guy's head, and it looked like Perez, as he starts to, like, they're down, right? Like, I wish you guys were here so we could demonstrate some of this jiu-jitsu stuff. You know, I'm trying to do this by myself. It's not quite working. But, like, as Moreno, he's, like, on his where was he? Like, as he like, he's down, right? Like, on top, or I keep saying Moreno, I mean Perez. Perez is down on top of Figueiredo, and then he starts to kind of not stand, but like get back on his butt, you know, like go straight up. And as he's going straight up, it looks like the guillotine is slipping off, but it doesn't. And Figueiredo's squeeze, and because there's not a lot of sweat there, they're early on in the fight, so tight, I thought Perez was going to slip out. But he didn't, because Figueiredo's guillotine is so strong and that squeeze is ridiculous. It really looked like his head was going to pop out, but because he had the neck so tight there on the side, boom, forces the tap. 1:57 into the first round. Like, AJ, you've been doing jiu-jitsu, as we know, for over 50 years. You know, what did you think about that? You learned from Helio Gracie himself. I think you and Helio were learning the basics of
roommates,
Japanese jiu-jitsu. Your childhood friends with Helio Gracie, learning Japanese jiu-jitsu from that Japanese guy that taught it to all the Gracies. You were there in the beginning, AJ, in Brazil. Somehow. I don't know why you were in Brazil at that time, but that's another story. But you've been around for a very long time, since the beginning of time, AJ. Tell us about how beautiful that guillotine was. Like, you've been grappling a very long time. You know what's up.
Look, it was just also the way it started. I mean, the way Perez came out, he came out like fire, lightning, man. He was ready to fight. And then Figueiredo, I mean, that whole movement and transition from like that takedown to kind of that slip, and the way he was able to adjust like in that nanosecond time to be able to get into that position to get that submission was unbelievable. And you're talking, you know, two high-level guys, but it just goes to show you how Figueiredo, it was so he was under the radar for a lot of people. But to Dana White in the UFC, I mean, they were pumping the crap out of this guy, man. They were comparing him to every fighter you can imagine, from John Jones to Khabib to George St. Pierre. Their highlight videos about Figueiredo. And you were talking last week, and like, you know, and a lot of people were saying is that, man, is this guy really worth a pay-per-view like main event fight? And obviously it showed that he does. Enough to show that the guy defended his title for the first time, and he's coming back in December to fight again. Yeah. Like, how many times do you get like a title a champion who defends and fights again, like within like 60 days? That never happens, man. You'd be lucky if they fight once a year, like let's say Conor or George or anybody for that matter at that time. But this guy's coming back. This guy's the real deal, dude. You know, like enough to make me want to find out why his name is Daiko and why is he called the God of War or whatever it's called. I mean, I wanted to find out more about this guy because you know what? He's intrigued me a lot. And man, he looked dangerous, man. And sorry,
it was his coming out party, basically. You know, that was him putting his name out there and getting people to know him. That submission was sick, and as you say, you know, they weren't sweaty, so it was hard for Perez to get out of that of the guillotine. Figueiredo, man, he's going to become a star. I'm going to go back to what I said last week. He needs to fight some bigger names, though. It's cool that he fights in 3 weeks. I'm going to give him props to that. I'm a little nervous for him, like, making weight, because I'm going, like, is he going to bulk back up in between fights. He's got to go through another weight cut, but I feel he's gonna win against Moreno. And from there, man, let's try to get back Cejudo in there, man. Let's try to convince
Yep.
Cejudo to come back and fight, because you got a star right now with Figueiredo. He's blossoming. He's at the beginning, but the guy has charisma. He has everything to be a star. So push it. Hopefully he wins against Moreno, and let's get Cejudo or Demetrius Johnson back. Let's find him some big fights.
Does he have charisma, though? Does he have everything to be a star? He doesn't speak English.
That's his only
Yeah,
drawback.
that's a lack. But he has the look, like you said. Man, he has that.
He looks like a champ.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, and he has a history. If you look at this kid, man, he was fighting MMA at like 16 years old. I mean, he's a farmer's boy, man. He was working with like buffalo cattle, whatever the hell it is. But the guy has a story. He's coming from like a young age of MMA, and his record is only one loss, and that's it. And it was by decision. His overall record is amazing, like 20 fights, and here he is. The guy has a lot, and I agree with Freddie there. If I want to see this guy, I mean, I love to see him fight Cejudo, and I think, if he can call out Cejudo's coming back into the game. Demetrius, man, like, you're right, man. Where is he? Everybody forgot him since he's gone out of the UFC. I don't care where he's fighting in one or wherever in the world. People forgot him, and he shouldn't be forgotten, and he knows that. He's not getting the credit to what he brought to the game. So we need to bring these guys back, and we need them to fight. And regardless if they win or lose against Figueiredo, man, this division is looking good, man. It's going to be exciting, and this guy's brought excitement to the division that Dana White wanted to get rid of at one point.
Okay.
So let's not forget.
Now, I feel the same way as you guys about a lot of these things, but let me play the other side here for a second and bring a little reality. This is Figueiredo's first flyweight title defense. We're already talking about Demetrius Johnson and Henry Cejudo, former champions, two greats, who, Demetrius is fighting in another organization in ONE FC. He's got a contract there, so I don't know how he would get to the UFC, unless he fights out his contract of some sort, right? And B, Cejudo has retired, and I don't know if he's ever going to come back to fighting, let alone the 125-pound division, because I think even they said on the broadcast, like, Henry Cejudo is very heavy. And we got a super chat there from Patrick C. Hamilton. Thank you, Patrick. He says the cider, I think he means the Spider hardly spoke English. That's true, but the Spider didn't sell a ton of pay-per-views. He didn't sell
That's true.
tons and tons of pay-per-views. He was a big star, but as good as he was, did he sell, did he sell the pay-per-views that he could have had he been a guy who spoke English and was talking trash in English? I don't know. Deiveson Figueiredo, to me, is like a Jose Aldo. Great fighter, looks the part, fights the part, finishes fights, kick-ass fighter, but will he translate to being a UFC superstar? I'm not so sure. So Henry Cejudo apparently super heavy. I don't see him going back down to 125, maybe 135 if he is to make a comeback, but that's not Figueiredo. So, I don't see, and then I look at the flyweight division. Who are the big fights? Like Brandon Moreno? Who is Brandon Moreno, really? Have you ever heard of him before last Saturday night?
He's a Moreno, I would say.
Okay, yeah, his name is Moreno. Like, I don't know. I don't really know who Brandon Moreno is. So to say that the division is looking great and, hey, Figueiredo, and look,
AJ
I agree.
Said that.
Yeah, AJ said the division's looking great. But Freddie, you're bringing up some names here, some old school names of the division, Demetrius and Cejudo.
But that's what I think it needs.
I know, and I agree with you, but it's Figueiredo's first title defense. Has he really revitalized the division? I think he has, but we got to wait to see the numbers, and we got to wait to see what UFC 256 does. Like, if you saw what he did at UFC 255, chances are you're going to want to pay for 256 because 255 was so good. And Figueiredo was so good. It was an impressive showing. But if you didn't, and I'm sure most people didn't, I don't know how that translates. Now, the UFC is pushing hard. They want to make this guy into a star. You know this, right? When the UFC is putting this guy in the main event of the very next pay-per-view, they're not messing around. They're like, okay, we want to make this guy into a star. 2 straight pay-per-views. This is how you do it. when Ronda Rousey was coming up, like, I remember she had a fight, and then after the fight, they had the poster already for her next pay-per-view that was like 2 months away. You know, like, that's what they do to the people they're trying to push big time. If you're finishing fights quickly and you're able to do it physically, they will give you many fights, like as many fights as you can do for them. You know, if you're a person they think is valuable, they will put you in there as often as possible. That's what they did with Conor McGregor. That's what they did with Ronda Rousey at the beginning. That's what they did with Jon Jones. All these stars that at the beginning of their career were so far ahead of the competition because, you know, they were world-class level and their competition was not, because they were facing beginner-level competition in the UFC. And when you do that, well, you're smashing folks and you're beating them in like a round or two, then you're able to fight again in 2 months, 3 weeks, whatever, right? But once it gets a little tougher and you face the toughest challengers, then you're not able to do that. What's amazing about Figueiredo is he's a world champion. He's doing this as the world champion, defending the title. Like, I haven't seen this since Ronda Rousey. Can you guys recall a world champion in the UFC defending a title in 2 straight pay-per-views other than Ronda?
Nope.
I think Ronda did it, right? Didn't she? I don't know if anybody else did it. I can go back and check.
I'm not sure about those statistics, but yeah, like right now the UFC are seeing some potential in him, and he's jumping on the opportunity. So I'm gonna give it to him, as AJ would say. And look, when opportunity knocks, you take a chance, man. Be there, man. He's got an opportunity, and he's jumping on it. So that's how it should be. That's how you become a star. That's how people end up loving you. Like, the fans, they want to see fighters fight. You know, like, at some point, once you're a big enough star, yeah, we'll accept you fight once a year. But when you're an up and comer, or you're getting to be known, man, we need to see you more often than once a year. So props to him to jump on that opportunity, and that's just gonna make him a bigger star.
Not even Ronda Rousey did that. She main evented against Miesha Tate, UFC 168, and then main evented against Sarah McMahon, UFC 170, but not 169. So I don't think it's ever been done where a champion has main evented 2 straight pay-per-views.
The only thing I could say, Dave.
Yeah.
The only thing I could say is that I've been trying to look for like stats on the 255 in the pay-per-views and the sales and whatnot. It's impossible to find, and I think the reason for that is that the sales weren't that great, and they're not out, but they should have been out at this point. It's like it's almost like a week later in a sense, and they should have been out. I don't think the numbers were that great, and I really think that Dana White is giving that opportunity for Figueiredo to get better pay on this next fight in December, because people will really know him based on what he did on Saturday. And you know, I can't find it. I'm looking at everything else, but it's not showing up. Generally, I can get that number, but it's not showing. I can see what the payouts were for the fighters, but sales, no.
Strange. I don't know what the number is either. I'm looking around and I can't find it. You know, you look at the UFC 254, which was October 24th. 5 days later, numbers were out that the Khabib pay-per-view sold like 500,000 pay-per-views. So if the numbers aren't out, it's probably because somebody is not too proud of those numbers, right? Usually when the numbers come out, it's because the UFC is kind of saying, hey, we did this much. So I can't imagine it sold a lot of pay-per-views. Hopefully for Deiveson Figueiredo and the UFC, the next one does. Because I think Figueiredo is a star. I just, you know, again, though, for a star to really blossom in the UFC, they need a challenger. They need a nemesis. They need an enemy. They need an opponent. And he says that he's got real beef with Brandon Moreno. I'm not sure why, but Figueiredo is like, I really hate Brandon Moreno. It's personal. And I'm like, okay. I'm not sure why. Maybe in the countdown we'll find out. I don't know.
From what I remember hearing, I thought there was some injury or something that happened in training camps. I got to look into it more, but rumor had it something to that extent. But there's obviously some hatred there. Whatever it is, it needs to be built up so that the fans, or you know, the every once in a while, UFC fans have to get that storyline. I mean, you got to bring it out, and that's how you get pay-per-view sales. That's why Conor is number one. That's why George was up there. That's why you have the Diaz brothers that were up there. And if you look at pay-per-view sales, like historically, you can't beat like Khabib versus McGregor with 2,400,000 sales. You've got Diaz versus McGregor too, which was 1,600,000 sales. And then you go forth. UFC 196, McGregor versus Diaz, the first one, 1,000,003. But I'm gonna get back to what you were saying about.
Why are you doing?
But listen,
yeah,
because you were talking about Anderson Silva.
And we're not talking about Anderson Silva right now.
No, but listen, but it all ties in because you're talking about Anderson Silva. Why he didn't have like the fights like he could have got because he didn't bring in those sales, and he's not even on the top 10 or top 15
because he didn't have a nemesis until Chael. He didn't sell pay-per-views until Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen, because Chael Sonnen talked trash. Chael sold the pay-per-views, but Anderson was his nemesis, and Chael talked a gang of trash, and it worked. And what you need to sell pay-per-views is somebody to yap. If Brandon Moreno, I don't know what his English, I think he speaks English, right? He's American, isn't he?
No, he does. He speaks English. But I was going to say was,
I think
what I was going to finish off with.
Does he speak English, though?
Yeah, he does speak English. And I'm going to say one thing. What I was trying to finish off with is a guy like Figueiredo needs someone to bring in those sales and build a storyline. And you need somebody like Henry Cejudo who is there listening, watching, and we need to get him to start talking. Like, this is what you need, and then all of a sudden we're going to start getting better numbers.
You got to start listening to – why Henry Cejudo?
Because that guy can talk, and he can talk trash, and
but he's not going to fight.
Dave, we said that about George St. Pierre. We said that about a lot of guys.
George isn't fighting.
George came back to fight, just like he came back to fight Bisping. But in the end, people will talk and they will come back. Just like Khabib, we said he's done, and rest in peace to his career. But the truth of the matter is,
what's going to make Cejudo come back is the UFC making him a legit offer. I'm pretty sure
which
that's
they won't.
Reason why,
and they won't.
Why Cejudo retired.
Oh, no, they won't. They won't because as good as Deiveson Figueiredo is, and as much as real fight fans might want to see Deiveson Figueiredo versus Henry Cejudo, they know that Deiveson Figueiredo and Henry Cejudo won't sell shit on pay-per-view, so they're not going to offer Henry Cejudo big money to come back and fight.
Dave,
am I wrong?
Say something. Just like, yeah, you're right, and I'm going to tell you why, because there's someone that said this. They said, make America great again, and now they're going to have to make the lightweight and a lot of divisions UFC great again, and they're going to bring in flyweight. And even like in the lightweight as well. In
the
most
lightweight
of the divisions, all the way to the heavyweight.
The lightweight division is the hottest. All those fights you were just talking about that sold all those pay-per-views, all lightweight fights. Yes, all right, but what I'm saying lightweight division's fine, AJ.
But you need to make all divisions great again, and you got to bring that excitement to every division possible.
And that's what you need to do. Again. Every division sucks. Make them all great again, AJ says.
AJ for president of MMA.
AJ for president.
Thank you.
You're not nervous about that bet we have, AJ? Speaking of making
America great again.
In fact, Fred, you think you should be nervous about the bet?
I'm telling you.
I'm letting it play out, man.
Okay. What?
Freddie knows, but Freddie knows. You just want to answer it, but he knows.
So the bet.
It's getting hot.
What's the bet, AJ? What bet do we have?
Well, the bet comes down to this because are we going to talk about Bet 99 at this point or not?
No. Tell us about the bet that you and I have, the side bet.
Well, because since we're a sports show and we like to do crazy bets every once in a while, so the bet is this: is that I said that I think Trump is going to stay in office till January 20th. He's not going to leave. He's gonna resist all he can to stay in office. He will not be removed January 20th. That's what I said, Freddie.
No, but
I didn't say he was going to win. I said he's not going to remove.
You also said January 21st he'll still be there, right? He'll still be president.
Yes, exactly. I said January 21st is the day. If he's still in office,
he'll be starting his second term. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Well, unless what's happening. No. I'm not saying that it could be that he starts a second term, depending on what's happening through this craziness.
Stop the steal.
Stop the steal. Fred wants to stop all steel production.
I just want to win my bet. Listen, I want to win my bet, and I still got the bagels that I want from you, Dave. So let's not forget that.
You will Johnny keeps reminding me. You will definitely not win that bet, AJ. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'll just keep taking
But
money
if
from
I
you.
do-
It's very easy.
listen.
I don't mind taking money from you, and I can continue to win money for the rest of the Ringside Report universe if they keep listening to me on all the picks, as I was right on everything at UFC 255.
Whoa. Don't take all the credit there.
I'm taking all the credit. I was right on everything.
were
Listen,
wrong on
don't pump your
Perry.
own horny
Yeah,
there.
but I wouldn't have taken Perry. Look, we make the picks here on a Thursday night, okay? Mike Perry couldn't make weight Friday morning. When I made my picks on Saturday, when I actually made picks and put money down myself, I didn't put Mike Perry on my parlay. My parlay was, and I can show you guys I sent you guys a picture
and you know
of the
why?
parlay, right?
And you know
my
why?
parlay cashed
Because
in.
you listened to me.
I
Because
listened to you.
to me.
If I listened to you, I would have lost all my money. So
No, you would have won the main event with the manner
yeah.
of win. So
yeah,
listen
okay.
to AJ
I didn't
because you're
need to
going to make
listen
money.
to you because I won my 4-fight parlay on the pay-per-view because I told
No,
everybody, Deiveson Figueiredo was going to win, and Freddie and AJ went with me, and they were correct. We were all correct, right? AJ said it was going to be by submission. He was dead on, right? 100% correct from AJ. If you bet on Deiveson Figueiredo by submission, you went with AJ's pick, you would have won some money. I don't know why you would go with AJ's picks, but hey,
Because you want to make money.
Sure. Except if you went with AJ's picks for the rest of the night, you might have had a little trouble. We all had Deiveson Figueiredo. We all had Valentina Shevchenko. She dominates over Jennifer Maia. Maia came in. She was tough. She won a round.
She was
but
awesome.
that was about it. I mean, Valentina is next level. She just, it seemed like a close fight at the beginning, and then Valentina, the longer it went, she just kind of ran away with it, and it just seemed obvious she had too many rounds, and she was just too much for Jennifer Maia. But we all had her winning. Yeah.
Dave, did you notice one thing on that fight? I mean, what I was surprised is listening Joe Rogan, all he was talking about was Maia through it all. I was like, what the hell, man? He was like, it was just like Maia. Look at Maia, what she's doing. Oh, she won a round. I was surprised. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe
You're accusing Rogan of being impartial? I mean, I'm not sure where
it sounded not impartial, but he was off in some sense. I can probably say that while he was commentating, probably. Yeah, a lot more than I expected.
I didn't notice
How about
that.
Valentina,
I noticed
man?
Valentina Shevchenko kicking ass. That's what I noticed.
Exactly. Not to Rogan.
Oh, whatever. I mean, Valentina won 49-46. That's 4 rounds to 1 on all 3 judges' scorecards. So it was a dominant performance from Valentina. And I told you guys Caitlin Chukagian was going to win. She came in as like a +2 something underdog. And she was on my parlay, and she won over Cynthia Calvillo, 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards. I just looked at that fight, and knowing what Cynthia does, she wrestles, and Caitlin Chukagian is so big, and she's got some wrestling ability. She's no slouch, She's not just a jabroni in there, and she's so big and strong, and she moves well, and she's got good striking, which is basically what I said last week. I was like, look, I don't see this happening for Cynthia Calvillo, and that's really what went down. I think people underestimate how much size and strength play a factor in wrestling. Like, when everything else is the same, like when skill is kind of, roughly the same, if you don't have size and strength on your side and you're looking to take somebody down, good luck. I mean, look, you could be a small, talented wrestler, and if your skill is like way more than the other person's skill, and you're much smaller than them, sure, you're gonna out wrestle them. But if you're like a little bit better than somebody at wrestling, but that somebody is way bigger than you, and it's an MMA fight, it's not
equalize.
And it's an MMA fight, it's not a straight wrestling match too. Like Cynthia Calvillo is a good grappler, but it just wasn't enough against Chukagian. Size can equalize, Fred. You got it.
No.
Exactly.
It can, but to be honest, go ahead.
My sensei says like every 20 pound is basically like a belt. Like if you're fighting somebody that's 20 pounds over you, no, but it's true. If you're fighting somebody that's 20 pounds over you, if you're like, let's say both guys are blue belts, well, the guy that's 20 pounds heavier should have an advantage. But if it's like white belt against blue belt, well, it's still like a pretty tight fight because those 20 pounds mean something, man.
Not according to Helio Gracie. But I'm going to tell you something. The only reason I didn't go with Shokagian. Listen, the only reason why I didn't go with Shokagian is that, listen, with her fight against Andrade, I'm like, man, there's going to be no way. I mean, Calvillo's going to do what she does. take her up against the octagon and hopefully be able to grapple her and do what she did in the
But
grappling
Andrade
series.
didn't
And I'm
do
like,
that. That's not what Andrade
no,
did
she
to her.
didn't. But
Andrade is
that's
a knockout
what
artist.
Canelo,
She's a little pit bull. Like, Andrade will knock
she's
you
a
out.
pit
That's a
bull.
different story. Different fight.
But I was looking to size there, and I'm like, she's going to take her to the ground, and she should submit her. But I got to give it to Shugagi, and she did very well on the ground, and she did amazing in the fight. But you know what? It was a mistake on our part. But you know what? Things happen. But she was the underdog.
Mistake on your part, AJ.
I'm just gonna say,
Freddie
like, I
too,
follow her. Yeah, I had good video, but I follow Chakugian on Twitter, and this week I forget what she said, but she gave me the impression of somebody that's really focused. So if anything, like, I'm gonna give her props because she's well prepared for her fights. She's a serious martial artist and great performance, man. She caught my eye for the next fight. I won't underestimate her. Like, I'm gonna have to definitely respect her more next fight.
There you go.
True.
And you guys had too much love and respect for Shogun. You went with the underdog Shogun, and I took Paul Craig. I thought Shogun was gonna last a little bit longer. He got beat up. Officially, it was a TKO, but Shogun tapped due to strikes. He was getting beat up.
He tapped.
And he tapped.
Dude,
that was a submission.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Anytime, you get to a certain point in your career where you tap out to, like, strikes, it's done. Yeah. The game is over. Yeah. And you know what? It's a shame. We saw Anderson Silva go down like that rabbit hole. And Rua now, we're seeing him going down that rabbit hole. Don't continue the way Silva did it. It's time to look back and just say, you know what? My career is done. There's no way you can continue. I mean, he looked in good shape, Rua. I was looking at him, and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't look too bad. But man, oh man, oh man. That was a horrible fight, and I was like, you're right. I think me and Freddie went with heart.
Yeah.
And I really thought he would do a lot more with Paul Craig. And like Freddie says, we forget who Paul Craig was. I remember him. He's from Scotland. He's a good fighter. He has his up and down moments, but man, he looked good in this fight.
That's why you guys need to get UFC Fight Pass, because I have it and I watched the Shogun Paul Craig fight.
Just let me use your account, Dave, man.
Yeah, but then what if we try to use it at the same time? I'll give you the password.
You're allowed 6 people. Yeah, you're allowed 6 people, Dave. Don't be greedy there.
Are you?
Remember, we work for Ringside Report.
What is it? IP Vanish?
Wait, are
IP
you?
Vanish we need or something?
Yeah, we don't have. That's not a thing anymore. But
sorry.
Well, not on the show. I mean, it still exists.
That vanished, man.
Yeah, but
don't worry, they might be back.
AJ, do you know that for a fact that you could have several users at the same time? Because if you can, I would give you guys my passward.
No, I
didn't know that.
Don't trust AJ, man.
I don't really.
No. Listen, no, it's because I had it in the past, and I'll look into it. Right,
well,
I'll see what the max is.
We can test it.
But regardless,
that sounds
like when AJ is telling us that it's okay to share things on social media that we're not supposed to.
I did that
in the past. And
yeah, exactly. AJ.
Hey, listen, man. You know what's the funny thing is that I've never been stopped from anything I've done.
Yeah, you have.
I don't want to talk about it, you guys. But
have.
Listen, No, I haven't. When have I been stopped? Never.
Yeah, you've had things pulled.
Never.
Yeah. From Instagram. Didn't you have something on the Ringside Report thing, a blocked or something pulled from Instagram because you posted like a UFC highlight package on a Ringside Report Instagram? I'm pretty sure you did that, AJ. Pretty sure that happened.
It's possible. Yeah. But I'm going to say one thing. Going back to the Paul Craig guy. Man,
it's possible.
You know what? It was. It's possible, but I'll have to look into it. Let me get my lawyers on it. But you know what? Was that like fight really that good of a showing for Paul Craig after the way Rua performed?
I mean, he beat Shogun.
He killed him. He not only
killed him,
man, he destroyed him.
He killed a walking punching bag.
He retired him.
But he was a walking punching bag.
And if anything,
come on.
I'll just say, like, Shogun, he always was small for light heavyweight, but in 2020, he's definitely too small for light heavyweight. These guys are huge, man, light heavyweight. And the skill and the wrestling and all that, like we said just earlier, weight matters, and Paul Craig took down Shogun as he wished. Like, those takedowns were pretty, like, impressive still.
Listen, you know what? I'm like, I really did go with heart, and I'll be honest. I met Shogun Rua like in the past. I spoke with him. He gave me his autographed picture, which I actually gave my autographed picture to Wally. Wally has it up on his wall in Ireland. And the guy was such a nice guy. I mean, such a nice guy. And you know what? That's the thing. I gotta sometimes
Give it to him.
I gotta give it to him.
Gotta
But I
give it to
also
him.
gotta realize I gotta give it to him. But I also gotta realize that
Hooah!
I gotta look at past that heart and realize that he was done. And it was a mistake. But hey, I hope he retires.
Maybe he could find another place to fight Anderson.
Listen, if he goes to
They're both gonna be out of
Bellator,
the UFC.
well, Anderson Silva, like, there's no one that's picking this poor guy up. And you know what? In a way, he's lucky. I've heard rumors that he wants to get into boxing. And you know what? Somebody was saying, like, he's going to make his way back to Japan because his fan base in Japan is, like, through the roof. Maybe that's where he needs to retire. He needs to go back to Japan, retire, and he's going to be on every
see that happening.
Pepsi and Coke commercial or whatever it is for the rest
Give
of his
him a
career.
freak show fight, an easy fight to retire in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fun. One of those New Year's Eve type of things. Like if Dream was still a thing, that would be cool. But I don't know if they still do those New Year's Eve MMA shows in Japan. I definitely haven't heard of one for this year. So I don't know, man. I think that would be fun one day for Anderson. But the PFL's not interested. ONE FC's not interested. Bellator's not interested. UFC let him go. Anderson wanted to go fight somewhere else, but nobody seems to want to sign Anderson Silva. I saw a thing. Even bare knuckle boxing didn't want to sign Anderson Silva. Like, I don't know what's going on, man. But apparently nobody wants the services of Anderson. Is there a fight out there? Is there somebody out there you'd like to see Anderson fight? Him and Shogun would be kind of fun, but Fedor or Vitor? Who'd you see? Who'd you say? They're both out there. Who?
Fedor.
Yeah.
Fedor.
Fedor? How about Chael Sonnen again?
I think Chael's retired.
Why not Chael again?
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, man.
Why not?
Look, if you put these guys fighting,
that's the one that would sell the most.
Yeah.
Sure. And you know what? You do what Bellator does. You bring these guys back. Like Fabricio Verdum. I mean, like, when you think about it, he's 42 years old. He's there fighting. You need to put these guys fighting with the same guys they fought in the past, the same age group.
Sure.
And things could be interesting. But you can't have, like, Shogun Rua and Anderson Silva fighting in 2020 going into 2021 against these freaking stallions that are there. It's a different game. And Freddie said it right. 2020, he was small in the past, and he's like a mini me, like now. It doesn't make sense, So it's time to move on and like maybe find another circuit like Tito Ortiz did and Renzo Gracie. Renzo. Yeah, even Renzo or Hoist when he fought. Who did he fight? He fought
Ken Shamrock in Bellator.
Ken Shamrock.
Yeah,
exactly. And they were fighting at 49 and 50 years old.
If that can happen, Bellator
something.
doesn't seem to want to do that type of stuff anymore. I think the Japan option would be there if they had something going, but there's nothing really going on in Japan as far as MMA really these days on a big stage. So, Anderson and Fedor on a New Year's Eve in Japan is something that would make sense, but I don't see it happening this year. Maybe next year, but I kind of think that's where Anderson Silva goes, like a freak show type of deal. If Mike Tyson can fight Roy Jones in a boxing match on Saturday night, like I see no reason why we can't see Anderson Silva fight Chael Sonnen again for old time's sake. I think Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen are more in their prime than Mike Tyson and Roy Jones are. But they're going to be boxing on Saturday night. Man. Who? I mean, they both look good. They're in shape. But let's see what the actual match looks like on Saturday. It's going to be 8 2-minute rounds, and they're going to be wearing 12-ounce gloves. There was talk that there was going to be no knockouts, no knockdowns, no cuts.
That's what I heard.
But now the promotion is saying that that's not true. There will be if somebody gets knocked out, so be it. There will be a winner. The promotion is saying it's a real fight.
How do you prevent knockouts in a boxing fight? You can't
no.
Sometimes guys go down.
Unless they're just tapping each other, not really trying to hit, but if
they're
doing that,
sparring session. That's
what are people paying
money
to see that for? Yeah, well, it's supposed to be like a glorified sparring session. It's called an exhibition, but I don't know. I don't know what this thing is going to be. whatever it is, it's a freak show. I think Roy Jones probably wins. I think Roy Jones will look better. I know that a lot of people are going with Mike Tyson, and a lot of people are...
He looks in shape.
I think, seeing the videos, seeing him in shape, and believing the hype, I think a lot of people, go with their heart instead of their head a lot of times, and the heart is with Mike. But the facts are Roy Jones fought like 2 years ago. Roy Jones to me, Roy Jones is closer to being a professional fighter than Mike Tyson is. Mike Tyson, in my mind, is not a professional boxer.
What?
He used to be a professional boxer.
Are you on
now,
crack?
Mike Tyson is a comedian. He's a celebrity. He's a guy who makes celebrity appearances. There are people who have grown up, who are adults, who have no concept of Mike Tyson as a boxer. Mike Tyson, the last time Mike Tyson was relevant in any way as a professional boxer was 2002. There are 18-year-olds today when he fought Lennox Lewis and got knocked out. That's the last time I would give Mike Tyson relevance in the boxing world. He fought three times after that. Yeah, and he got knocked out by Kevin McBride. He retired on the stand, and I remember betting a ton of money against Mike Tyson on that fight and winning a bunch of money because he was the favorite back then, and I thought, Mike Tyson is not a fighter anymore. And does anybody forget his last fight when he got knocked out by that guy Danny Williams in some Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky? Like, Mike Tyson was no longer a fighter in 2004, okay? When the opportunity came to make money off Mike Tyson in 2005 because he was a favorite for some reason, because probably people like you, AJ, were betting on him, I bet against him and I won money. I distinctly remember that. One of the first times I won a bunch of money because, AJ, in 2005, I'd only been legally allowed to gamble for maybe a year or two. So
look, I'm going to tell you something, Dave.
Respect,
You're looking at
AJ.
Mike, and I got to give you something. You got it right. With Kevin McBride, a lot of people thought Tyson was going to knock him out. And you know
ridiculous.
what?
He's not a fighter
right.
anymore. He's a celebrity.
Whoa. Let's pull it back a bit. That was 2005, and you look at Tyson's 6 career losses, and 3 of them came in the last 4 years of his career. The thing with Tyson at that point, he just needed money. He had taxes that he had to pay from here to wazoo. He was going through all kinds of crazy shit. The guy was bankrupt. Let's not forget that. He had $300 million in his bank account, went down to zero. And you know what Mike Tyson had? He had no training camp. He had tons of stress, tons of pressure. And you know what? He was tons of depression. And I'm going to tell you something with Mike. When Mike is clear and Mike is in the game, nobody could beat this guy. And you know what? 2005 is a long time. And you know what? He had it bad,
Holyfield.
Man. Listen, Evander Holyfield, man, he was a great fighter. Lots of respect to him. But you know what? Tyson is coming at 54 years old. He looks like he's in top shape. I seen his training regimen. This guy is coming to win. He's not coming for a celebrity match. This guy looks like he's ready to win. And
bet. Put money down.
I'm betting Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's going to win.
How much?
And if it was
if there is a winner, how much? How much? What do you want to do? $20?
Want to do the bagels?
You want to do
Double bagels
again?
Or not?
Double or nothing bagels?
Man, I'm missing bagels.
So I owe you a dozen bagels if I win the bet.
Well,
I owe you nothing.
No, you owe me 2 dozen. You owe me 2 dozen bagels because you still owe me bagels from our last bet.
Yes. So if I lose, I owe you 2 dozen. If I win, I owe you nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's how double or nothing works, AJ.
Yeah, okay. That's it. I'm in. Mike Tyson for the bagel knockout.
Roy Jones for the win.
That guy's going to get smoked.
Roy Jones has won 4 in a row. His last fight was in 2018. Mike Tyson has lost 2 straight. His last fight was in 2005. Tyson's 54. Roy Jones is 51. There
you go.
The age means nothing to me. What means something to me is Roy Jones has won 4 straight fights in the years 2016, 2017, and 2018. And what means a lot to me is Mike Tyson has won no fights in the past 15 years because he's been inactive on with various substance abuse issues, weight gains and losses, appearances
Talking
on
about
Broadway and so on, doing all sorts of crazy shit, not being
talking
a
about
boxer.
substance.
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen said that Mike Tyson's gonna be juiced to the grill. So
I mean,
like,
so,
and he looks.
so will Roy Jones.
He looks
I
good,
hope.
man.
I mean, they're in their
Better hope.
50s. They're in their 50s and they're fighting. Like, for sure they should be on steroids. I hope that they are. That way the fight won't be so embarrassing. But I think Roy Jones definitely wins. Fred, what do you think?
Yeah, I gotta go with Roy Jones, but I don't know.
If there's
man.
a winner,
Freddie,
if they even declare a winner, they might not declare a
yeah,
winner.
yeah,
I don't know.
They not. If it's that type of fight, like I'm not gonna get to the end of it. Like
Yeah.
if after round 1 or 2 I see that there's no serious action, I might just like stop watching it. But yeah, I'm gonna look. Roy Jones has been more active, so just on that, I gotta pick Roy Jones.
I'm seeing a
Look.
good comment from Sean Pearson on the chat. He says, if Roy don't have the wheels anymore, it's over. And
Exactly.
yeah, I agree with that. If he doesn't have that movement, Mike Tyson will definitely put a hurting on him. Like it'll be dangerous for sure because Mike Tyson has that power. But in 2 minutes, is he going to be able to catch him in a 2-minute round? Is he going to be able to put it on him?
How is Tyson gonna move? I mean, Tyson also is old. Like,
That's
no,
another thing.
no.
I think it
Whoa,
might
whoa,
be a
whoa.
little bit of an awkward fight there.
I
No,
think
I don't
it'll
think so,
look
man.
okay
Have
for
you
the
seen-
first round. I think by the second and third round, like if this thing actually continues past the fourth round, it's going to look really bad. It's going to look slow motion.
Listen, man, you guys, have you been looking at some of his training videos for Tyson? Have you seen the speed this guy has when he puts in his hooks and things like that? The guy is like, he is, for
Fred, what's
54
going on
years
here?
old, man, he's moving really, really well. His training regimen, man, this guy is jogging, man,
AJ,
like
you realize
20
Like-
kilometers plus. I mean, this guy he is looking to redeem himself. His demons are out, and he's coming. He's doing it for D'Amato, and I think Johnny said, who's going to be in his corner? It's going to be the spirit of D'Amato and all the Tyson world that's followed him. He's going to go in there, and I'm glad there's going to be this no stupid, you can't knock out rule, because Tyson is going to knock Jones out. Celebrity fight or not, man. Don't forget, you've got a wild beast, and his name is Mike Tyson.
AJ is a big fan of Mike Tyson. He's very exciting. Very excited. I'm seeing Yukon Cornelius in the chat. He goes, Tyson, TKO. So
Exactly,
he's
man.
with AJ. Johnny North on the
Yukon
chat.
knows, man.
Johnny North on the chat. He says, the big question, who is in Tyson's corner? I don't know.
The
that a
spirit
big
of D'Amato.
question?
That's what I said. Of
Right.
course, that's
AJ is a
question.
big
That's
Mike
very
Tyson
important
fan. You could tell he's excited. I just, I'm more based in reality, and I don't know. I don't think this is going to be a real fight, though. I'm hoping it's a real fight, but I feel like it's just going to be nonsense, and we won't have a winner, and it's just going to be like, well, and if that happens, AJ, there's no bet, but.
You know what? I'm surprised that you didn't have Matt Casavant on to talk about it, because I like to
Yeah.
hear what Matt's opinion is.
I forgot.
Like, seriously, Dave?
I really forgot.
Damn it. Well, we'll try to get him
I
on
do-
after the
I do
fight and see what he
everything
says.
else for the show. I mean, you could.
Except giving us, access to, Fight Pass. But that's okay.
Yeah. So I'm also supposed to
Why are
pay
you
for
guys
your Fight
fighting
Pass
in public,
subscription.
man?
I'm supposed
You
to.
guys need to stop fighting in public, man.
Yeah, AJ,
Come
stop
on,
fighting with me in public. Like
We
AJ,
should do a celebrity match.
we should have done on the show tonight that's already going on. That's pretty much over. We should have done this, Dave. Thanks, AJ. Good
Well, why don't you call
suggestion.
back? You should call
Hey,
Matt up.
Hey, if
Call
you
him
have
up.
suggestions, you know when a good time for that is? Before the show.
You know what?
How about that?
You're absolutely
How about
right.
if you have
But
some
I got
ideas for
so
the
many
show,
things on my mind.
you
I always
contribute
do. You
before
shoot-
the show
you
instead
shoot
of
them
saying
down.
instead of saying 2 minutes before the show. Hey Dave, what are we talking about tonight? And then I run down what we're talking about and I explain to you everything.
Listen, the show is getting out of control. We need to hire an intern. I told you, I already have my buddy,
Hire
our
an intern.
intern Mark. We need to hire someone else. If there's anybody out there, send your CV to David Simon. I'll give you his phone number at the end of the show. We need to get somebody to do our stuff. It's too much. Can't handle it.
What?
Hey,
don't
happy
hear
Thanksgiving,
it,
Sean.
Happy Thanksgiving to
man.
all of our American friends. And Thanksgiving, you know what that means. Black Friday's coming up. Christmas is coming up. You need to do some shopping. And you need to get yourself some high-quality products. What are you going to get? You know, what are you going to get for your dad? What are you going to get for your uncle? What are you going to get for your brother? What are you going to get for the man in your life where you're like, what do I get this guy? What are you going to get for yourself, right? Well, you know what to get for yourself. You always know what to get for yourself, what you need. But I'm always wondering, what do I get for this guy? What do I get for that guy? And I'll tell you what you get. You get Manscaped products.
You
go to Manscaped. AJ, I'm trying to do a commercial here. You go to manscaped.com, okay, and you use the promo code Ringside20, and that way you get 20% off your order plus free shipping. They've got tremendous products. They've got ball wipes, okay, because you never know when you might need to wipe down, stay clean. If you're doing grappling, you're doing jiu-jitsu, you want some of that ball deodorant, you want some of that, stuff to make your balls smell fresh and clean. You also want to stay nice and trim down there. You don't want to look like some sort of beast, right? So you got to use the top of the line Lawnmower 3.0, now available in Canada. It is the best. It's got a little light on the end. It will not nick you. You can go right down to the skin. You can shave all those hard to reach, hard to spot areas. With the light, you can see all the little hair. Oh, I got hair here. Right? Fantastic. Lawnmower 3.0. You got to get this product, and it's only available with Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use our promo code Ringside20 for 20% off your order, plus free shipping. You'll be glad you did. And then, boom, tick people off that Christmas list, Tick people off your list. I'm all about ticking people off the list. I got to do some shopping tomorrow. Black Friday, baby. I'm ticking everybody off the list tomorrow. The list is ending tomorrow, okay? I don't know what I'm going to buy.
What are you getting us?
AJ, I've already bought your Christmas present. I bought your Christmas present like a month ago. Fred,
come on,
I have ideas for, but I'm not so sure. But I've got some ideas for Freddie. Look, everybody, I've got everything.
He's always good.
Yeah, weed. Fred always likes weed, But I like to get something special for Freddie. But AJ, I got something special for you. Okay,
clean nuts.
Santa Dave is always thinking about his buddies, always thinking about his friends and family, and those in the Ringside Report team.
Not just Santa Dave, Jewish Santa Dave. So it's two times the gift. No,
I'm only giving you a Christmas present because you don't celebrate Hanukkah.
I do, man. Who says I don't?
Well, I don't know. You have a menorah?
That's pretty racist, Dave.
Well, you're not Jewish. It's a Jewish holiday. Do you have a menorah?
Maybe I feel
you have a menorah?
very Jewish.
Let me try to
Fred say menorah.
I know Fred doesn't. Fred certainly doesn't celebrate Hanukkah. Last week he's like, "What's a latke?" Or like, he's never had a latke before. I was like, "What? Have you never had a latke? Who's never had latkes? Amazing."
Well,
we'll get you
or
some.
matzo ball soup
for not celebrating something that I'm not part of.
No, exactly. No, I understand,
Keep
Fred.
shaming AJ. He's the one trying to cultural appropriate your culture there, man.
That's right.
He's the one stealing your culture, man. Let me alone, man.
No, but I like that AJ is he likes the culture, Fred. I just want you to have a tasty snack because latkes are good. I just think you'd enjoy a latke. That's all I'm saying, Fred. It's not a cultural thing. It's just a tasty food
have
you
you
might
ever
like.
offered me one?
No, I'll get you some.
Okay, so I blame
I'll take care of it. Oh, yeah, it's my fault. I'm a bad Jewish liaison. I'm not helping you out to learn more about the community. Have you watched Curb Your Enthusiasm?
What?
No.
What is that?
The Larry David show.
It's a TV show. I know.
He's very culturally Jewish. It's a joke. Jews
I watched
would get
Seinfeld.
it. Jews would get it. Well,
No. Listen, man, the best Jewish show was Arrested Development. Hands down, number one.
I don't think they were Jewish. I don't think there was.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
Dave,
not at all. They were not Jews.
I think you're mistaking with Modern Family.
You gotta know your community, Dave. And let me help you with that.
Are you talking about Caged Wisdom when George Bluth went Jewish and he did his Caged Wisdom? Because that's the only Jewish part of Arrested Development. I watched that show. They were not Jews. The Bluths were not Jews. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're being racist here, AJ.
What?
Yeah,
me? I'm Italian. How can I be racist?
That's AJ. careful,
You gonna
Dave.
pull those
Don't be
soprano jokes on me?
racist.
Yeah, Dave, don't be racist, Dave.
Don't be.
We're gonna get our show plugged off the air, man.
I'm
I'm the
Italian.
only one here that looks at people as individuals, man. You see, libertarian Fred,
Freddie,
man. I'm the answer.
you know what we should do?
As always.
Dave, you should
No
put Fred in the
racism.
middle. Listen, you should put Fred in the middle of the boxes here, because Fred is usually the balance
okay
of
at
the
the
left
right.
and the right side. Because Freddie
I'm
wants
on
to
the
make
right of Dave.
Freddie
Yeah.
wants to make the Ringside Report Network great again.
Whew.
And talk about those odds, man. I can't wait till the 21st comes. It's
You
gonna
guys
be
are.
awesome.
I'm exhausted. You guys are really taking it out of me today.
Hey, what were we talking about? Tyson? Oh yeah,
God.
it's Tyson. Doesn't
Yeah, we're
Tyson
done
have
with
like
that.
this
It's over.
huge?
It's
No,
over.
wait,
He's
wait. No,
going
no,
to
no,
lose.
no,
We
wait.
made a bet. It's over, dude. We're moving
no, I was
on.
gonna say one
We're going to
thing.
talk about
No,
Curtis
wait.
Blaydes and Derek Lewis, and I'm going to
Wait.
give you another way to make money this weekend, baby. I'm going to give you another solid pick to make some money on the weekend, okay?
Well,
What?
I was just gonna say quickly, like Tyson, even if he wins or loses, I'm trying to figure out how much money he's gonna make, because it doesn't make a huge difference. Because from what I heard from Snoop Dogg, you know, the word has it that he's making so much money with his weed empire now. Is that correct,
Ten-
Dave, or not?
But he's making $10 million guaranteed for this fight this weekend.
Why are you getting your
Is it
news
that
from the
much?
Gangster News Network and Snoop Doggy Dogg? What is happening? You know, I
wants to
heard from
fight
a
the
very reliable
Undertaker, I
source,
read.
Snoop Dogg. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Snoop wants to fight the Undertaker, I heard.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Taker
Christ.
retired.
The
Did you
world's out
not
of
see? Did
control.
you not see the final farewell at Survivor Series? The Undertaker's
it.
retired. See, that got a better pop on Sunday night. I don't know, you guys. You guys don't like the Undertaker impression? I'm telling you, the Undertaker made his career rest in peace. No, nothing.
I
Until
like the
next
McFarlane thing that you
WrestleMania.
posted.
The Undertaker has retired because
Undertaker.
his work rate has gone to shit.
Your Undertaker
Did
sounds a
you
little bit like
see-
Triple H.
Did you see
Your Triple H
his
and
match?
Undertaker is similar.
My Triple H is like this. I'm the gamer. The cerebral assassin. Nope.
Bravo, Dave. Bravo.
Curtis Blaydes.
Bravo.
Tell us why you to bet on Curtis Blaydes.
Oh, we're on there
Curtis
now. Okay, let me get my
Blaydes
papers.
is gonna make Derek Lewis rest in peace. I think he's gonna fuck Derek Lewis up. Curtis Blaydes by knockout.
too.
Okay, Curtis Blaydes is
By
a
knockout.
Moya. TKO on the ground, elbows. I've watched a
Oh,
bunch
yeah,
of Curtis
yeah.
Blaydes fights, a bunch of them, in preparation for this, and I just see what he does, and his wrestling is very, very high level for the
Top-
heavyweight
High
division.
level, exactly.
Very, very good. Excellent takedowns, excellent control. You look at Derek Lewis's ground game. It's very power-based, not a lot of technique there. I think Curtis Blaydes is going to be able to get Derek Lewis to the mat pretty easily. And once he gets him there, he's going to beat him up. Derek Lewis is going to turtle up, and the referee's going to stop the fight. I don't think it's going to last very long. I think it's going to end within the first 2 rounds. This is a main event, so it's supposed to go – I mean, it could go 5 rounds, which I don't think Derek Lewis lasts 5 rounds. This fight for sure doesn't go the distance unless Curtis Blaydes like lays on top of Derek Lewis for a while, which is possible, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to finish him. Wasn't able to finish Volkov in the last fight, but he's finished a lot of guys. Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, Alexei Olenek. Like, Curtis Blaydes has stopped some people, and he's been on a run. His striking is like he stopped Junior Dos Santos standing up. He didn't take him down and beat him up. He stopped him standing. So he might knock out Derek Lewis, but I think he's going to take him down. He's going to beat him up. He's going to land those vicious elbows from the guard, and he's going to finish him. I got Curtis Blaydes by knockout. I'm looking at Bet99. You can go to bet99.com. Use the promo code Ringside. Get 100% matching bonus up to $200 at bet99.com using the promo code Ringside when you're a new New subscriber, new
member.
Thank you, Fred. Curtis Blaydes right now, minus 385, the favorite. Derek Lewis, plus 290, the dog. I don't think that they have, method of victory up yet at Bet99. I think that by time.
They should.
Nah, they don't have method of victory up yet. I'm sure they'll have it up by fight time. But right now they have Blaydes as a very heavy favorite. Look, I wouldn't bet on Blaydes straight up, but if you can get him at a slightly better number by knockout, I would take that. And that's really my only pick. Like, I'm looking at the rest of the card. Not a lot of well-known fighters on this. It's a fight night card. I could give you a pick for the co-main, but as far as the rest of the card, I don't know. But my main pick for the fight night is Blaydes and Blaydes.
And you know what, Dave? Like,
why is your cousin Marco sending me videos now? What's going on here, AJ?
What's he doing? I got something on my pop-up here too, man.
Yeah.
What's
that
he
was
doing,
Marco.
this guy?
Don't watch
Doesn't
it
he realize
during the
we're
show.
live?
It's unbelievable what he just sent me. It's
I know. I saw something pop up.
Stop sending them to me, man.
Crude and lewd. Yeah, your cousin Marco. Hey, Jay, your cousin Marco's always sending me rude videos, but that's okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I like Curtis Blaydes. I like him
by
knockout.
But
he's my only one. He's my only pick, and that's how it's going to go down. That's how you win.
Look,
Dave's
and you're
pick of
right.
the night.
Like, when you look at Curtis Blaydes, man, this guy is, when it comes to the wrestling, there's no one better than him at heavyweight, and you're absolutely right. And he's fighting Lewis. Lewis hasn't gone the distance since 2011 when he was fighting in Bellator. So that's not going to happen. If it does happen, it'll be a miracle. But you know what? He's going to take him to the ground. He's got a 1-inch reach, 1-inch height advantage. Lewis, as we all know, is that Lewis always gasses out. But with a guy that high-level wrestling like Blaydes has, I'm going exactly what you said. He's going to take him down to the ground. He's going to pound him out, and it's going to be a TKO win. Not going the distance, maybe fourth, maybe third, but it's going to be no chance for, look, I love the Black Beast, man. I love the guy. The UFC fans love this guy. The guy brings in numbers. I watch all his Instagram posts. The guy is awesome. But the thing is that he has only that one knockout punch. And sometimes the thing is that he's about to die, and he looks like he's about to lose, and he comes out, and he gets that miracle punch. But that's not going to happen against Blaydes, man, because Blaydes is a beast himself. And he's only lost twice to Ngannou. That's his only, Achilles heel. Other than that, man, he's gone through everybody, like you said. So this is a pretty, I don't want to say a sure win, but pretty close to it.
Yep. Freddie?
I said it earlier. Blaydes by TKO sounds great. I agree with you. Like, he's just a better fighter. Derek Lewis's only chance is the puncher's chance, which is, often the case with him, and he has prevailed often before. But I feel Blaydes' wrestling is going to... If in round one Blaydes puts him on his back, it's going to be a long fight for Lewis. Lewis is going to gas out slowly. Blaydes is going to control him. I think it's going to be a TKO, but it also might be just a decision where Blaydes just plays it safe and keeps him on his back for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that to me is the only risk.
You see, 25
That's the
minutes,
only risk of this
25 minutes.
fight.
25 minutes makes me say it's probably going to be a TKO.
Yeah. I don't think Blaydes or Lewis lasts the 25 minutes there under Blaydes,
Impossible. He hasn't done it since 2011, Dave, when you think about it, in Bellator. And it's not going to happen this Saturday. And in fact, this is actually the first time that we all agreed on the same fighter with the same manner of win. So we all went TKO, Blaydes. So you know what?
There you go.
Usually when we say the same guy to win, generally, we're hitting at about 90% plus on that. So we're doing pretty good.
I'm going to put money on it. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting money on Curtis Blaydes by knockout. I don't know how much, but I'm going to put some I'm going to put some significant money down. But TKO knockout is what TKO or KO,
same,
it's the same, man. When you're betting, it's the same, which is really good.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to put some significant cash down cuz I've been winning a lot, so I'm going to let it ride on this one, okay? I'm going to put some real cash down on Curtis Blaydes on Saturday night for the knockout, all right? We're going to come through again for you. And I'm also going to put a little parlay on Blaydes for the win on Norma Dumont Viana at plus 111 right now, a bet 99 to beat Ashley Evans Smith minus 135. Ashley Evans-Smith is not winning this fight. And I'm also going with Gina Mazzani, who's minus 172 to beat Rachel Ostovich, who's plus 140. Ostovich should be a bigger underdog, much bigger. She's going to get smashed. How do you like that? I like Rachel Ostovich, but, it's not happening. She's a 4-5. You know why she's still in the UFC?
No.
No?
No.
Google her.
Tell me, Dave.
Google her. Go to her Instagram. She's 4.
Google her.
She's 4-5.
Wonder Woman.
4-5 as a professional. She has lost
that's
2 straight in the UFC. She's 1-2 in the UFC. Her last fight was a submission loss to Paige Van Zandt in January 2019, and she's only what did I say? Plus what? 140? Put all the money you have against fucking Rachel Ostovich, man. She's getting her ass kicked. Look at her Instagram. She's not a fighter. She's an Instagram model.
Careful where you're going.
I am. I'm going to it, right? Jesus, Murphy.
Look, but you know why she's still in the UFC?
Talking about her ass.
Most people in the UFC have winning records in the UFC. You have a 1-2 record. You're 4-5 as a pro. Who's 4-5 as a pro with 3 fights in the UFC that's still in the UFC? Find me
Wasn't
somebody.
Mark Hunt at some point under 500?
He came back, though, and he's like a world championship level fighter, Fred. I don't really think you can compare. Like,
Dave.
I got nothing against Rachel Ostovich. She's got a good story. She's had some trouble in her past with domestic violence, and she's a positive role model, and she's very active on social media. And I think because she's got so many followers and because she's so active on social media, that's why she's still in the UFC, because she is a star of sorts in MMA. But at plus 140, look, this isn't a game for stars. This is a game for fighters. Ostovich is going to lose. It's just the way it is.
You can make that. Listen, you can make that same argument with Perry. If you look at Perry, I mean, this guy in the last 4 years, he's 7-7. He's lost I don't know how many fights in a row. And you got a guy that comes in and he talks about he doesn't need anybody in his corner but love. I like Mike Perry in a sense because he brings that entertainment value. But if you look at him as a professional fighter, man, he's not even close. I mean, this guy probably has so much talent that he's not using because he's not putting himself in the right. In the right circle. He has no team, but if he really has a team, like really a coach, and a team that's going to direct him to bring out his abilities, he wouldn't be 7-7 in 4 years.
You need somebody.
But you know what he does? He brings.
Come on.
But Dana White for some reason keeps him there when other guys have left the UFC with a lot less.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But he's had more success in the UFC than Rachel Ostovich. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. But he doesn't have the best bikini shots like she does, and that's why she's there, And you're right. I'm taking a look at it, and I'm like, wow, it makes sense. But Dana White likes that. Dana White likes numbers, bud. That's
co-main event is Anthony Smith, former title challenger to John Jones, taking on Devin Clark. Smith minus 135 over at Bet99.com, and the underdog is Devin Clark plus 110.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
interesting.
Look,
I don't know about that. Anthony Smith has not looked good. He has struggled since that John Jones fight. He beat Gustafsson, and then he got his ass whooped by Glover Teixeira, and then he got beat up pretty soundly by Alexander Rakic in his last fight. This is a do or die here for Anthony Smith. If he wants to remain elite at 205 pounds, he's got to win this fight. He loses this fight. There goes the career, baby. It's the game. It's a tough game. But you lose 3 in a row in the UFC, normally you're in big trouble.
Normally, not to Mike Perry.
At least you're not in championship contention anymore. Nobody's talking about you as a world title challenger. So this is a big fight for Anthony Smith, and I don't know if he's going to win. I'd stay away from this fight. I really wouldn't bet it. But if you're going to bet it, go with Devin Clark. I would pick Devin Clark to win.
Dave? But his 2 losses, for sure they were a good beating, but he lost to top legitimate guys. I mean, he didn't lose to any jabronis. And if you look at the numbers, you look at right now Devin Clark having better numbers. But if you look at the quality and the type of people that Anthony Smith has fought throughout his career and the experience that he has, even getting up to a title opportunity, you can't compare. So if you're going to look at it overall, I mean, there's no reason Anthony Smith can't beat this guy. You know, there's
he
no
should.
reason. And
he should.
He should.
But I haven't liked what I've seen from Anthony Smith since the John Jones fight. Really, in his past two fights, he's looked like not great.
No, he hasn't looked great. But
Rakic and Teixeira.
Yeah, I know he fought good guys.
Yeah,
no, you're right. You're right. That's why I wouldn't bet on this fight. I wouldn't bet on it at all. I wouldn't put money on this one. It's kind of like,
you know what?
I don't
Why
know.
not?
I wouldn't bet on Anthony Smith to win.
Look, if Anthony Smith is going to win this, he's going to win this by decision, and it's going to go the distance. He should win it by unanimous decision. And you know what? When you look at their ages, they're not that far apart. If Anthony Smith was fighting a guy who was like 25, 26, I'd be like, you know what? There might be a bit of an issue. But you got Anthony Smith at 32 years old. You've got Devin Clark at 30, and not to take away from Devin Clark. I mean, he's had a pretty good run so far, but. You know, two guys that he fought that were a little bit more in elite standards, like Rakic, he lost to. So you know what? Anthony Smith, 32, Clark, 30. You know, if you look at experience and who's able to carry it the distance, you're going to look at Anthony Smith for the win.
I don't strongly disagree with you. You know, I'm just going the other way because I feel like, you know, after you lose to the champion, things change. You're not the same. Haven't been impressed with Anthony Smith in a couple fights. I'm going with the new guy who's on a win streak. But, yeah, Anthony Smith should win this fight, but I wouldn't bet it. I wouldn't bet on either guy to win because I don't know. I told you, my pick is Blaydes by TKO, by knockout, and we all have that same pick, which I like. That's how it should be, right? That's the big pick. That's the money pick of the night. And I also like the two women's fights to bet on. I like to bet on Gina Mazzani at minus 172. I think there's value there. And I think Norma Dumont-Viana at plus 111, value there to beat Ashley Evans-Smith. So there's that too. But my big pick is Blaydes by TKO. I like that big time. Big time. Boys, anything else? AJ?
Not really, man.
All right, good. Show's over. Thank you.
No,
Go to ringsidereport.net. Okay. Go to ringsidereport.net. Follow AJ on Twitter and Instagram at Danny Brugg. Follow Freddie at Freddie MMA. Nah. Follow me at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter and Instagram. What are you going to say? Carol Parisian? He's not fighting anymore.
No, Josh. But that's what I was going to say. If you're going to look for a pretty good... Yeah,
he's not his son. He's not his son.
I was just going to say, if you wanted to go with a win maybe in your parlay, you go with him for a first-round TKO, man. That's it. That's
I'd go second round. I'd go second round for that. I actually watched some Josh Parisian. Good for your parlay. I watched Josh Parisian fight, and I wouldn't bet on him. I watched some of his fights outside the UFC. I was not super impressed. So I would not bet on him. And this guy, Parker Porter, you never know. Like, he's not great either. I've watched some of his fights. I did research on these guys. That's what I'm telling you. Like, I did research on other fights. I've watched some of these people's fights outside of the UFC even. I prepared for this one. And, like, I looked at Parisian and Porter, and I was like, yeah, I'm not betting this fight. There's no reason to, because I don't trust Parisian at a minus 208 favorite. I think that he'll probably win, but he could very easily lose. He's not a guy that I'm convinced is great and is going to win a bunch of fights in the UFC.
Look, it's his UFC debut, and I think he's going to come out and he's going to try to do what he was supposed to do in years back. To get into the UFC. I just think that it'll be a good card to put on your parlay for that win. I think he's going to win it.
Yeah, I'd rather go with the shirt thing. I wouldn't do anything with that fight. I'd stay away from it. Okay, AJ. Anything else? Are you good? You're satisfied?
Let's see. Yeah, what do I have
let's see here. Let me just stall for time while we're live. Fred, let's end the show.
I'm surprised you didn't mention.
Nah, let's end the show. Just me and Fred. Bye, AJ. Fred, it's been a good show. Thank you. You've done well.
Great show, man.
Congratulations.
I did jiu-jitsu today, so I felt good.
Me too. I did jiu-jitsu today. Look at us doing jiu-jitsu during a pandemic, doing things that we're not allowed to do, but we find a way. We find ways where it's allowed. Okay, we find ways. We're not doing anything illegal. We would never do that, right, Fred? Never. AJ, on the other hand, AJ,
That's
on the
okay.
other hand, highly illegal gentleman.
Listen, that's okay, man. You put me off fair. Give me enough time to send your addresses because you don't do jiu-jitsu in with anybody.
Hey,
It's
take it
okay.
easy. Take it easy.
So,
Hey,
so you'll have to certain the Quebec coming. Hey, listen, I wanted to say one thing.
I'm coming for you,
Tell me.
AJ. You're next, brother.
Don't go around and start dancing at the Rosemere Carrefour like the rest of those guys that are ruining it for us. Did you know about that?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. There was an anti-mask protest where a bunch of people, that was in Rosemere, a bunch of people without masks went into a shopping mall and started, they called it dancing. It was really not.
Line dancing.
It was really not very good. It didn't seem like they were kind of like,
Living.
I don't know. They looked foolish. They looked stupid.
It did, man. It looked bad.
It
The dancing didn't look that great, man.
It's not good dancing. If they were dancing, if it was coordinated, choreographed in some way, that'd be cool. But it was just like a group of people kind of dancing. It didn't seem like there was music. It was just like, we're not wearing masks. It was like, yeah, all right, we see you. Could you
listen,
put
and
one on? It'd be nice, And that was it.
And think about it. We talk about like COVID and all the problems, and then I read an article on Cody Garbrandt that was supposed to fight and he couldn't, and he's so messed up because of COVID. He thinks that he can only fight in March, and right now, like from what I've seen, this guy is like 2 months. He got COVID August 29th, and he's still messed up. He's battling vertigo. He basically has blood clots in his bicep. He has pneumonia, mental fog. He has all kinds of symptoms because of COVID. I'm reading that, and I'm like, shit, this guy's in top shape. And like it kind of worried me a bit. I'm like, this guy got it August 29th, and he's still messed up.
You guys ever have a flu? You guys ever have a flu that did that to you? You ever have a flu that did that? No. People saying it's like the flu? I don't think so. I never heard of a flu that does that.
Man, it was scary. When I read that, I'm like, holy shit, that's not a joke.
No, people are getting seriously weird symptoms off this shit. I heard that there's talk that it might go into your balls and it make you sterilize you. So Fred, you didn't need the vasectomy. You could have just got COVID. And then
you got Manscaped and you're done, man.
Bada
Jesus,
bing, bada
serious,
boom.
Dave?
Yeah, there's all sorts of weird shit with COVID. I'm telling you, man, and I'm no doctor. I don't know these things. This is not a medical opinion of Ringside Report or the Ringside Report staff. However, I'm hearing a lot of weird shit about COVID, and Cody Garbrandt has like brain fog and he's all confused and he's still sick.
Vertigo.
He's vertigo. He's got this August 29th, and we're sitting here November 20-something, 6th, and he's still fucked up. Like, that's crazy. And he's a young guy. I think he's like 29, 30 years old. Obviously in great shape, a top athlete, mixed martial arts world champion. And he's fucked up. It's crazy.
Scary shit, man.
Yeah,
so that's why we're not in studio yet. Like, and a lot of people that are watching our show are probably wondering, we've been doing this show like from day one from COVID. March, that everything was locked down. Ringside Report was going strong. Above TSN, ESPN, and all the rest of those guys, we were like on the horn. And the thing is that generally we're in studio and we're having a good time and shooting each other with Nerf guns and jelly beans and like the smell of weed throughout the air. Not that I do any of that shit, but you know what? I'm just saying. And it's fun times. But look, we haven't been together in studio since what, February? The last week of
something
February?
like that. Yeah.
You know what? We missed so many things. We missed our Ringside Report, get together in the summer and our parties and birthdays and
Wrestling Uncensored 500 came and went with no party. Yeah.
And remember when we did the big party at the TSN studios
for 400?
Think about it.
Yeah.
It was, imagine that was 400. And we had like so many people that came from Toronto, Ireland, Quebec City. We had like people from all over coming to our show to come and party with us. And here we're going into like December. February's around the corner, and it means that we've been off studio for almost a year. And chances are that's exactly what's going to happen. So what we should do is we should do a COVID 1-year anniversary for Ringside and, do a little jam down, man. Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, how? What do you mean? A COVID anniversary? That doesn't seem like an anniversary to celebrate. Like, we've been separate for a year. Let's celebrate separately. Like, how does that even work? Fred, what the fuck is he talking about? AJ's gone
say
off
this,
the rails. I tried to end the show like 20 minutes ago. We're ending the show, AJ. I let AJ.
I wanted to do a
AJ
dance
say,
party or something.
"See, this is the mistake I made, AJ." I said, "Anything else, AJ?" And you were like, "Pa, pa, 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 pa. Let's do a COVID anniversary special." What the fuck? Why? Pa, 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 pa. Let's do a turkey chase for Thanksgiving. AJ, maybe you should have thought of that before Thanksgiving. Pa, 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 pa. Let's do it next year. Pa, 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 pa. Bye, AJ. Thanks for everybody for watching. Thank you especially to Patrick C. Hamilton for supporting the show on the Super Chat. We appreciate you. Thank you to everybody on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Subscribe to all of the channels. If you're watching us anywhere, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, subscribe. We appreciate it. Like the video, leave a comment. It helps us quite a bit. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow night right after SmackDown for Wrestling Uncensored with Johnny North. For Freddie and AJ, I'm Dave. This has been Ringside Report MMA.